As the sun sets during this holy month of Ramadan, Muslims around the world listen for the azan, or the sunset call to prayer, which you can hear now. Since sunrise this morning, Muslims have been fasting, which means no food and no water until now.
أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله.
As the call to prayer is heard, the smells of exotic and local dishes float through the air as people prepare to break the fast for the day with the meal known as the iftar. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, eagerly looked forward to by many Muslims. Fasting at this time may be tough, but the prospect of the iftar can be motivation in itself. As we will soon find out, iftar is a joyous religious observance where the breaking of the fast is often done as a community. Today we've been graciously invited by the Sheikh Mohammed Center for Cultural Understanding to share in the practices of the Emirati culture during this holy month. Here with me is Suad Al-Sarkal from the Sheikh Mohammed Center for Cultural Understanding. Suad, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming.
So what can we look forward to this evening?
Today the program is basically having iftar here at the center and chit-chatting while eating at the beginning, and then before we head to the mosque, at the Bastakiya Mosque, have an Islamic session over there and walk back to the center through the neighborhood and looking at the entire architectural aspect of the neighborhood. After that, we'd walk back through the Bastakiya neighborhood to the center for some dessert, coffee and tea, and it's like a more personal Q&A session over here, and then we would wrap the evening up for that.
Suad, this looks absolutely delicious. Can you give us a little bit more detail about what we have here?
Well, definitely, but before I go into the foods, I would just these are the dates. This is what I'm talking about. If anybody doesn't know what dates looks like or what are they, these are the dates. 3 pieces with a glass of water. That's how you break your fast. And then the traditional foods that we usually eat, that's the first way. That's called tharid. Tharid is basically very thin bread with meat, broth and vegetables. So it's kind of soggy. It's but it has proteins, fibers, carbs. So it has everything that you need to give whatever your body is missing during the day.
It's a full balanced
Exactly.
meal.
It's a full balanced meal by itself. I mean, this one has to be on the table every single day. I would guarantee you 99.9% of local houses have that on their table every day. And then we have biryani. Biryani is kind of derived from the Iranian aspect because, in the Bastakiya area, it's a lot of trade that happens over here.
Right.
So we trade with Africa, Iran, India, with a lot of spices and the fruits and whatnot. So that's a dish that came from there.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites.
Well, it's awesome. I mean, the spices that are in there, the herbs, it could be either meat, chicken. So it depends on how people would want it. That's the second dish. The third one, the most famous one, it's haris. What I call it, it's wheat with meat or chicken beaten to a pulp.
Okay.
So this is where the men help us in the kitchen. Usually they say Arabic men don't go into the kitchen, but they do. This is what they do for us.
For the haris.
Yes. What happens is that we get a lot of wheat and ghee and meat or chicken, depending on the family, what they like. And it's all in one big stirring pot. And we have this is a spatula, but the wooden one that we use for haris is like this big. It's wooden, it's very, very thick. And the men use it and literally beat the haris, literally translated is mushed. So they beat the haris, and that's what we get. And it's another very traditional, 99.9% of the houses have it on their tables.
Right, so I think haris is something very Emirati.
Very. Yeah. And actually, there's this dish. As I said, we trade a lot with Africa and India and Iran and everything, and we have a lot of an exchange of recipes. And this is a dish actually that is cooked in Africa way before we start cooking it.
Really? Okay.
I think it's called boka boka. So it's African. I know we never knew that, but it's an African dish actually. But also as well, it has proteins. It's a very well, complete little dish that would actually get everything that you lost during the day. If you're working, if you're whatever you're doing during the day while you're fasting, that would give it back to you in a very well balanced diet, or like of one dish or something.
Right. It looks fantastic.
Well, please enjoy the food. I know you're gonna love it, and Ramadan Mubarak.
Yeah. Ramadan Mubarak.
أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله
and it seems like people are starting to arrive, so
Yep.
I guess you guys will begin.
Let's get started.
The sundown meal starts with the ritual eating of a date. Themes of unity, brotherhood, and sisterhood feature deeply in all of the elements of a daily fast, from the shared meals, the moral support, and the mutual prayers. But of course, the iftar meal itself is the main attraction. So as everyone enjoys the breaking of the fast, we find out just what makes Ramadan so special.
The most I like about Ramadan, what brings to the heart, what brings to the mind, the kindness that brings you to the level of purity that you try to reach and attain. Family gatherings brings all the kindness in you, just period. You become very kind in Ramadan, you become very thoughtful, very thankful, disciplined, of course, that's something important.
There's opportunity you can close to the people originally they stay here. We call it the local. Those Marathi people, how they celebrate. They're special for like holiday, but it's like religion-related holiday. And for us, yeah, it's if you work here and you won't miss such opportunity. So I think the culture center, they really supply us such a good opportunity to close to them. And yeah, they open the door and we open the mind, empty our stomach, enjoy the food, and really interact with them. It's good.
Ramadan is the family gathering and the friends. It's the time of the year when we break the fasting every day with the family. My other favorite part is the prayers. This is the time when we get at the mosque, and you get to see the people from the neighborhood, and then after that you have the gatherings at the house where family and friends meet every day. So that's my favorite part of Ramadan. It's the family gatherings.
Well, we really wanted to see what the experience is like. I mean, we've been to the big hotel, the big buffet, and that's, I think, a great part of what the city does. But seeing the more traditional part was something that was really important to us.
While enjoying the iftar, we had the opportunity to meet and learn more about the Emirati culture before heading to the mosque in traditional dress. And now we get the full Ramadan experience, where we wear an abaya and a shayla and get to visit a mosque. The Islamic holy month of Ramadan is intended to teach Muslims about patience, humility, and spirituality. As a non-Muslim, our visit to the mosque proves educational, giving more insight to one of the world's fastest growing religions.
The concept, it's called mosque, right? That's how we all know it. But really, truly, in the Arabic language, it's called masjid. M-A-S-J-I-D. And that resembles this actual act that I'm going to perform this second. You saw this at the center, how we did this. When you bow down and go with your forehead on the ground, and your forehead and nose touch the ground, we call it prostration, right? But really in Arabic it's sujood. Sujood, and when you have many people doing this act, it becomes what? A masjid. The house of surrender, the house of prostration to the Almighty. The only thing you need to have this house called a mosque or a masjid is 4 things. It has to be clean, it has to be where you can hold prayer 5 times a day actually, not 4 times, and it has to be where you can have a Friday prayer. There's one thing remains to be very important. It always, no matter where you build it in the world, it has to have this niche in the wall.
Many Muslims use Ramadan to make resolutions similar to that of New Year's resolutions. It is a time when they decide how they want to live their life for the next year and try their very best to adhere to their new commitments. This is a time where Muslims also read the Quran more and understand and share their religious teachings. A don't know about you, but this evening has been a real treat. I think for Muslims and non-Muslims alike, Ramadan in the UAE is a very special time. A time for deep personal reflection, as well as a time for fellowship with families, friends, and the surrounding communities, and a time for the sharing of cultures. Having learned a little bit more about Ramadan, the iftar, and the Emirati culture, all I can say is I'm looking forward to the Eid al-Fitr.